Welcome back to the channel. Today, we need to talk about Travis Clark and Katie Clark, because one set of Instagram stories just sent fans straight into speculation mode. What looked like a simple church-related trip has now turned into a much bigger conversation about Travis's future, his image, and whether something behind the scenes may be shifting in a major way. So let's get into why these new posts have people questioning what Travis is really doing right now, and why Katie's name is getting pulled into the conversation too. At first glance, Travis's stories did not seem dramatic at all. He reposted a group photo of several men with the caption, "This was fun. So thankful for what God is doing in churches around the country," and then followed it up with a collage of moments from the past few days. Travis added his own message on top of that collage, writing, "Can't say enough about these last few days. Grateful for the time, conversations, and friendships." On the surface, it looked like a warm, faith-filled post from someone who had just come back from a meaningful trip. But the reason people are paying so much attention is because this did not land in a vacuum. Travis posted all of this while people are still asking serious questions about what is really going on with his life in Texas, what happened to nursing school, and how he and Katie are handling all the rumors that have been hanging over them. And that is exactly why these stories hit differently. Travis was not posting one of the usual family moments with Katie and their two kids. He was not sharing one of those soft dad updates, and he was not leaning into the cozy family content that normally helps keep his image warm and familiar online. Instead, he put the spotlight on a group of men, a shared trip, deep conversations, and an atmosphere that felt heavily tied to church life or a faith-based circle. He also gave almost no context. He did not explain who these men were, what event he was attending, or why the past few days seemed to matter so much. That lack of explanation is exactly what made people start reading between the lines. Because once someone highlights time, conversations, and friendships without really telling people what is going on, the questions come fast. And the forum wasted no time. Bates followers immediately started trying to figure out who was in those photos, where Travis may have met them, and whether this new group of friends could actually mean something bigger for his life. Some major church names quickly came up in the discussion, including Harris Creek and Cornerstone Church, along with theories that Travis may now be moving in megachurch circles or around a Christian men's network in Texas. A few people even suggested there could be ties to the Robertson family orbit, which only made the conversation even louder. Suddenly, this was not just about Travis hanging out with new friends. It became a conversation about whether he is stepping into a much wider social and religious circle that could shape what comes next for him. That is where the bigger questions started taking over everything. What exactly is Travis's plan now? For months, Travis has been sitting in this strange in-between space where people are not quite sure what role he is trying to play anymore. He is still seen as the young husband, the former nursing student, the religious family man, and at the same time, someone who has not fully escaped the shadow of old rumors. So when people saw him surrounded by men, wrapped up in a church-adjacent setting, and talking about meaningful conversations and friendships, they did not read it as random. They read it as a possible turning point. Is Travis quietly moving away from the life people thought he was building? Is Texas becoming the place where he reinvents himself? Or is he being pulled into a new environment that could shape both his personal life and his career? And, of course, one of the biggest parts of this discussion is nursing school. A lot of people in the forum openly questioned whether Travis is still seriously planning to return to that path, or whether he is slowly backing away from it without ever saying it out loud. The move to Texas, the shift in lifestyle, and the fact that his recent content feels so far removed from the image of a nursing student have only made that suspicion stronger. Some pointed out that Travis now seems much more connected to music, church circles, travel, and the family platform than to anything related to healthcare. Others brought up practical questions, like whether moving states would make the academic path harder or force him to completely rethink his plans. But underneath all of that is a bigger feeling that Travis may be letting go of the future nurse identity altogether and opening the door to something else. That theory only got bigger because the forum did not see this as just a casual trip with a spiritual vibe. To a lot of people, the whole thing felt way too heavy with church circle energy to be dismissed as a simple getaway with friends. The repost about what God is doing in churches around the country, paired with a collage of group moments, made it look like Travis was stepping into a much more structured faith environment. And that is where the speculation really took off. Some people started wondering if Travis could be moving toward a role that still fits a religious image, but in a different way than people expected. Maybe through church media, music, content production, or some kind of behind-the-scenes digital work. At the same time, because Travis's name is still tied to old rumors, others read the whole thing through a much more cynical lens. To them, this was not just about friendship. It looked like a support system, an accountability circle, and maybe even the start of a redemption narrative meant to help rebuild his image. And once that conversation started, Katie Clark was always going to get pulled into it too. Even though the stories were Travis's, the forum clearly does not separate Travis from the state of his marriage anymore. Some people suggested that Katie may actually support Travis stepping into a Christian men's circle because it gives him structure, support, and maybe even a level of accountability. If a husband is trying to reset his life or rebuild trust, a religious brotherhood is exactly the kind of thing that looks safe and healthy from the outside. But not everyone saw it that way. Other commenters questioned why Travis seems free to build a brand new circle while their home life is still such a constant topic of discussion online. And that is where Katie gets pulled right back into the bigger narrative, because people are no longer just asking what Travis is doing. They're asking what this says about the life he and Katie are trying to build together. That is why these stories ended up feeling much louder than the content itself. Travis did not announce a huge life change, he did not explain a new career move, and he definitely did not post anything openly controversial. But in a moment when so many questions about his life are still hanging in the air, these church-heavy posts about friendship, meaningful conversations, and a trip with a group of men were enough to send people running in every direction. The forum tied it all back to nursing school, megachurch circles, church-related work, image rebuilding, and even the state of his marriage. So now the big question is whether Travis was simply sharing a meaningful trip with new friends, or quietly setting the stage for a completely different future in Texas. And honestly, that is exactly why people still cannot stop talking about it. So what do you think about Travis Clark's latest trip and the reaction it sparked online? Let us know in the comments whether you think this was just a meaningful church getaway or the beginning of a much bigger shift in Travis and Katie Clark's world. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Bates family updates and all the drama surrounding them. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.